I had bought my first house. It needed a lot of work, not to mention I didn't have any more than a bed and a dresser. So, needless to say, I had a few garage sales and some estate sales. I got to be quite the haggler. My friends were amazed at my finds. For example, a complete living room set with a 50-inch flat screen for $200. And it wasn't ugly, outdated furniture like you think. It was all black leather with a recliner. These kind of deals motivated me to look for more. One Thursday on my lunch hour, I visited a sale down the street from work. Thursdays are always the best days to review. Then you come back Sunday, or the last day of the sale, and lowball what they want to get rid of. I noted some items I'd come back for later when an old woman running the sale said I looked just like her son. She pointed to a box on the ground. "He is gone," she said, but seeing my face, she knew I had to have this box of his stuff. I glanced into the box. Its contents were completely random. There was a large flashlight, an old circular saw, an old lamp, and a pair of shoes. There were small items in the bottom that I figured wouldn't add up to too much. I felt uncomfortable at the way she stared at me. I figured if her kid died, the right thing to do would be to take the box. I offered to pay for it, but she wouldn't have it. I thought I'll just throw it out when I get home. I thanked her for her kindness, and as I looked up from the box, the woman's face had a very creepy kind of smile as she said, "Oh no, thank you. You have fun with all that stuff in that box. I love you, Joey." Now, this would be a good time to tell you my name is not Joey, but I felt I should just humor an old woman who's obviously starting to lose it. I responded, "You too," and left the sale. I left the box in the garage. 2 weeks later, I was cutting some boards when my saw quit. I remembered the old saw in the box. It was old, but it still worked. As I made my cuts, I started to feel lightheaded. I released the trigger, stopping the saw. The room I was in seemed to transform into a cooler in a meat-packing plant. I could see a big guy in an apron and a hard hat yelling at me. I was surrounded by sides of beef. The floor was covered in blood. My feet kept sliding, making it hard to keep my balance. Then I slipped, falling forward, and my saw made a cut in the big guy's hand. He clenched his injured hand, calling me an effing idiot. Just then, I lunged forward. Instantly, the sounds of the room were muted. All I could hear was the high-pitched motor from the saw. It was like I was someone else. He fell to the floor. His eyes exploded with fear. His mouth moved, but there were no words. I watched him for a moment, then bent down and started selecting boxes. I looked down at the previously blood-covered floor. It was clean. You could even say spotless. The large hooks that the sides of beef were hanging on were now empty. The sides of beef were gone, and so was the large man. That's when I woke up on my couch holding the saw, looking at the clock on the wall. I shook with fear. It all seemed so real. I threw the saw to the floor next to the boards I'd been cutting. That's when I saw the sticker. Property of Wilson's Meatpacking, Inc. Was this some weird dream? It had to be. I finished my cuts, took a shower, and called it a night. I got a new plug for my saw the next day. I put the saw of death, as I called it, on a shelf in the garage and never used it again. A month went by and I was sanding drywall mud in my bedroom. A table lamp on the floor next to the wall you're sanding is an old trick to shadow the wall. It highlights imperfections you don't normally see until you're painting it. You never want to use a nice lamp because it will get destroyed, so I decided to use that old lamp that was in the box from the garage sale. I didn't care if that lamp got destroyed. This lamp was heavy and solid, yet not very big. It seemed perfect for what I needed. I plugged it in and placed it by the wall. As I sanded, I began to feel sleepy. I stopped and laid down next to the lamp. A moth had slipped into the room and was circling the glow of the lamp. It almost felt hypnotic. I closed my eyes for a brief moment, and when I opened them, I was standing in front of an old woman in a wheelchair. She was very angry, yelling that I wasn't doing my job, calling me worthless and a disgrace to my family. She threw the contents of a bedpan on me and began to laugh. I wanted to walk away, but like before, I felt like I was only watching and not able to control what would happen. I picked something up, and before the first strike, I closed my eyes as tight as I could. I could hear her screaming. After multiple strikes, there was silence. I opened my eyes and I was back in my bedroom, heart pounding, covered in sweat. This was too coincidental. I grabbed the old garage sale lamp, and on the bottom read Sunny Slope Senior Living, written in magic marker. I threw the lamp down and ran to see the other items in the box. I immediately stopped and thought, do I really want to witness more attacks? It was obvious the old woman's son was a murderer. I have never had visions like these before, yet the box, or more specific, the stuff in it, had a connection to me. She did say I looked like him. She also said have fun with the stuff in the box. It's almost like she knew what I was in for. It was getting late and I knew I didn't want to see anyone else brutally attacked by that woman's psychopath of a son. I got ready for bed, then called it a night. I was greatly mistaken when I thought I would be able to sleep. My brain was pounding with visions of people being attacked. They started out quick and impulsive. They eventually grew into carefully planned dreams so disturbing, I woke up crying. It seemed that I didn't get to decide when I'd seen enough. The most disturbing dream involved the shoes I mentioned. It started off as a beautiful fall day. I was standing on a tall bridge. About 50 feet below was a winding creek with large boulders covering the creek banks. It was actually very peaceful. I realized I wasn't alone. As quick as I realized it, I pushed the person standing in front of me over the side rail. It all happened so fast. For a moment, I just stood there, staring at what seemed to be my bare feet. In the blink of an eye, I was at the creek bed. Unsure if the fall was fatal, I felt my stomach become nauseous. I approached a man lying on the ground. I instantly knew. I stood over him for a moment, then I removed his shoes and put them on. I couldn't even tell you if they fit, but I seemed to walk away with no remorse. I got home and went to my closet. There was a box with the word trophies written on the front. I placed the shoes in the box, and that's when I jolted myself awake. I went to the garage where the old box was. On the floor was a piece of gray packing tape. I peeled it away and revealed the word trophies. My heart sunk in my chest. I finally understood. Confused and concerned, I immediately thought this box needed to go to the police. There could be open cases on the people in my dreams. Then I thought maybe they were just dreams. Maybe I subconsciously read the bottom of the lamp when I looked through the box the first time. Is this all in my mind? But what if it's not? Maybe some nut job hurt or killed a bunch of innocent people and I'm too naive to believe it could be true. What if I take the box to the police, tell them about my dreams, and they figure out I look just like the guy that witnesses may have seen who did this sick crap? Will they think I did it? Even if I told them about the old lady, would they believe me? You don't get receipts at garage sales, and by a quick read of her, I don't think she would sell out her kid even if he is dead. Or is he? She never said he died, just that he was gone. He could be somewhere hurting some unsuspecting person right now. I now find myself questioning my own sanity. I'm so confused. My heart says one thing, but common sense says another. How did I know the word trophies was under the gray tape? Was the old woman and the garage sale the real dream? Are what I thought were my dreams really just my memories? Is this my box? Tell me, what would you do?